I Take You There. And
so I Take You There. So how does I Take You There? Do. That's right.
The bass line, which is by David Hood.
Once again, is that Staple Singers? That's Take You There track.
Yes, that was produced at the Muscle Shoals studio by the Muscle Shoals rhythm section, which was all white, beg your pardon. They were all white men who played a funky rhythm and blues.
Okay. I'll Take You There. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it, guy. No way, that is them. No way.
By the way.
Affinity Xtra, be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Xtra.
Listen, guys, we're just warming up, man. You know what I'm saying? Myself and brother Kevin Tomlin is here, warming up, ready to go in again in the rounds. We're getting back into the vibe of things, we're getting back into the energy of, like, guys, listen, sometimes we have great days, sometimes you have bad days, but when we come and do these podcasts, you still have to smile and wow and give your face a rest. You know what I mean? You know that song back in the day. But listen, first of all, we're doing this second part of the Muscle Show. Again, the Muscle and Show, it just doesn't make any sense. But in terms of what's that got to do with music, I've never heard of Muscle Show until Kevin wrote his book on the Icons of Muscle Show. But I know the artists that come out of it. We touched base about Candy Staton. We even touched about Aretha Franklin, and you know what I'm passionate about, mixing creativity against social injustice. That was happening from Muscle Show. They had links with active ministers. Aretha Franklin's dad, who was active in terms of standing up against standing in the gap when it comes to injustices. And I'm looking at our left and right. Maybe we need to check if we're fit for purpose when it comes to spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, because there's no point spreading the gospel and then people are still starving on the side of the streets. We're here to talk about poverty, and this is one of the things that I bumped into when looking into Martin Luther King. Before he died, his next stage of his work was to look into the poverty gap between the rich and the poor. And I wonder why, one of the elements of why they had to get rid of him is because end of the day, the rich need to stay rich and the poor need to stay poor. That's just because that's how sometimes the rich does it. But before every revolution, they take the mick. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to rich and poor, people can say, "Why you gone too far there?" But look at the French Revolution. Look what's happening right now with the new French Revolution. The far right almost took over because of people hungry, poor, and destitute. And this is where we need to take care. We need to not get comfortable and actually share. Have a duty of care for people who are poor. Sing about people who are struggling, sing about the journey and the hard times of life, you know what I'm saying? And that's when creativity comes in to help people escape the terrible times that we're going through now, the hard times with no money and all this business. And you're thinking, why are you saying all this? Because I know, we're going to draw back some oldies right about now, the foundation elements of the popular gospel. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, would you say Aretha Franklin was a crossover gospel artist that showed that you can be successful in the secular realm just doing gospel?
Yeah, well, I think the best way to actually say it, just look at the Amazing Grace album that she recorded at the late James Cleveland Church on the West Coast, which was the biggest selling, and it probably still is the biggest selling live gospel album.
Crazy. 2
million copies and rising. It's classical. Everybody who is a serious musician would tell you that it had a special magic that cannot be duplicated. It was just a one-off experience.
And
where gospel and professionalism came. Because if you watch her performing, her eyes was closed most of the time.
Them ways there, bro. Them ways there. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. That's you know, it's almost just in the spirit, man. Just moving, you know. On the vibes, as a musician would say. She's vibing, man. She's vibing. You know the ones there, Kev. You know, yo, guys. Just what we're gonna do after we go past the fourth time through. It's gonna be vibes afterwards. What did you do? Oh, we can't do it again because it's just bare vibes. You know what I mean? We never planned to do that. You know, we don't talk like that anymore, guys, because we play to track. So the track finish. Well, you don't play to track, and the music is fully organic. Yo, Kev, you know the ones there, man, and they was vibing.
Remember today, a lot of producers, people who are producing music, a lot of them don't have a lot of time interaction with live musicians in the studio. Occasionally they do it, and if you look at, say, Kirk Franklin's first album, for instance,
pure live.
It was live, but when you listen to the reason why we sing, the message behind it, it's just like Amazing Grace and some of the performances that Aretha Franklin did live. When we talk about the first hit single that she did in Muscle Shoals at the Fame Studio, the organ, if you listen to the organ intro, that in itself is church.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then she comes in and answer it with the acoustic piano, and then the rest is history.
Yo, this is when I said to people straight, you know, some of the most successful people just do themselves. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you saw the other day, bro. I know it's going a bit aside, but we've talked about Prince, and we haven't touched on Prince as an artist. We talk about we talk about his art. We talked about you know, like we're talking about Sounds of Blackness, but he's aware where he came from and whatsoever. But you know what's funny with Prince? They found a video of Prince when he was about 11 or 10 years old. I don't know if you've seen it the other day. Did you see it come up on the news? Yeah, they found you know what I mean? And then they had some guys that all said that he was doing it. You know, you're looking at it's just this little thin little skinny little black boy got in front of the camera and was saying blah 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 blah, became Prince. It's like, yo, it's just absolutely crazy. And sometimes, you know, when you look at him in his artistry, you don't treat him as a young black man, but he's a young black man, you know, and he did amazing things. Maybe because his hairstyle put me off.
When you look at Prince, is like Aretha Franklin. They're unassuming, very quiet, very reserved. But when they open their mouth and do their stuff,
it's time.
When when you look at the era of Muscle Shoals, a very unassuming place, very small population. The husband had hits out of there.
Bro, it's got that little studio. Yeah, it's got that little studio that they use as homage. Yeah. So what's this?
You got Paul Simon had hits out of there. The Staple Singer had some monster hits. I Take You There. When you listen to the bass line and the drums of I Take You There, and so
I Take You There. So how does I Take You There? Do. That's right.
The bass line, which is by David Hood.
Once again, is that Staple Singers? That's Take You There track.
Yes, that was produced at the Muscle Shoals studio, by the Muscle Shoals rhythm section, which was all white, beg your pardon. They were all white men who played a funky rhythm and blues.
Okay. I'll Take You There. Hold on a second. Yeah. So once again, it can't be. I'll Take You There.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Come go with me. I'll Take You There.
I'm gonna play it, guy. No way, that is them. No way.
By the way, the guy who's playing the bass line is a white guy called David Hood.
Jeez. And this is what this is the
thing that
crazy.
And then the drummer is called Roger Hawkins. Actually, Roger Hawkins is one of the most original drummers in the industry. As a matter of fact, according to Dave Hood, they find it very difficult to duplicate his bass line. Not only his bass line, but Roger Hawkins' drum beats.
So would you say that this is more funk stroke gospel?
Yes, of course, because these men. I'm not saying
that it can't do it, but it's not a traditional. Yes. It's not a traditional sounding track.
Okay, remember respect yourself. If you're ready, come go with me. I'll take you there. Were message songs. They're positive, uplifting songs. After the American is going through the Watergate experience, you're going through the Watergate. You come out of racial segregation and oppression. And then Al Bell is writing these songs about his experience and his journey. These brothers from the Stax songwriting workshop, they're coming out with these music and taking it down to Muscle Shoals for the guys them to interpret it. The Muscle Shoals rhythm section was so good that they were responsible for backing Millie Jackson's Caught Up, Feeling Bitchy, and Get It Out Your System. 3 gold albums. Millie Jackson is a different kettle of fish, but they're responsible for those 3 gold albums. They're responsible for also a gentleman by the name. They did some of his tracks, but some of them did. But just to say with you that from out of the Muscle Shoals experience at Fame Record, where Clarence Carter did a gold record called Slip Away, to Weak to Fight, gold record, Patches, gold record. So Rick Hall created gold records with his small independent label that was under distribution contract to Capitol Record.
Okay.
Capitol Record was his national and international distributor. Right around that same time, a few years afterwards, they had Rick Hall had the Osmond hit, One Bad Apple, came out of that studio. The same studio that Aretha Franklin did a million seller. The same studio that Lady Staton did her big hits. Actually, a lot of Lady Staton's records, singles, were 500,000 and above, 500,000 copies and above. So they were sizable hits. They were sizable hits, actually.
So would you say, because I'm looking at, let's have a look. I hate to go back to staple singers, because
go ahead, yes.
Because the staple singers, I'll be honest with you, bro, I never really heard of them before. I know that I Take You There song, 100% growing up, I heard that around the place.
Yeah, Take You There. Well, Take It There, just to interject, since I remember, Take It There was re-recorded by BB and CeCe Winans on the part of their platinum album. Part of their platinum album, and
that's where I know
maybe Staple. The original member, founding member of Staple Singers, was one of the backup vocalists on it.
Right.
Okay. And it was number 1 too, The single went number 1 again.
So it was number 1 when it originally came out, and it got number 1 again. Because obviously, I know that from the Winans. That's why I heard it. I was like, I know this track. But I didn't realize Staple Singers originally did it. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was written by Hal Bell, the former black recording executive and owner of Stax.
Go on, explain Stax. Explain saying to people what Stax is.
Stax is a this is now where we have to talk about my second book, isn't it? the Icons of Memphis, then I could talk about stats.
Oh, okay, cool. We're gonna press pause on this. We're still on Muscle Show, because if we're not careful, so we'll digress. Yeah, so we have to keep
so
we keep on track. But I'm looking at I'm going back to the Staple Singers. So the Staple Singers obviously produced their biggest hit. For me, this is their biggest hit. I don't know if you would argue against that, bro, but this is the hit that I know growing up anyway. Still, yeah. Now, Staple Singers, you know, as growing up in church, bro, yeah, would you say Staple Singers was like a go-to thing? Go-to artist? Was it as big as what I heard it is? Would you say that they were top?
Yes, the Staple Singers, they were, remember, on 2 occasions in 2 different cities, 2 different regions, the Staple Singers had pop #1 single on the Hot 100 hit singles chart. I'll Take You There was #1, right? For the Muscle Show sound. And again, they had a #1 from a different city, which I'm going to talk about in the future.
Okay.
That was a big #1, right?
Yeah.
And they were one of the few groups that a lot of people of the white population gravitate to, because they did message songs. I'll take you there. If you're ready, come go with me. Remember, they're from the church, you see?
Yeah.
Respect yourself.
Yeah.
When you listen to the intro and the bass line of Respect Yourself,
Yeah.
it's so conscious. It's literally conscious. It's the sort of music that Bob Marley would do. You know, that sort of message.
Yeah.
It's a message. They're message songs, you see.
Now, because I'm just looking as well, there's a film out on them as well called Watch Mavis. And I think
Yes.
you know, it's on Amazon Prime. You got paid for it.
I would be looking at that as soon as possible. Watch Mavis, because Mavis is one of the surviving of the old generation who knows Mahalia Jackson and Aretha Father. They all know each other. They always linked, because they were very familiar with Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, because they grew up during that era. And don't forget, with the Staple Singers, they were on the first major black label, VJ Record, where they did Unclouded Day.
Okay. How did that go on Cloudy Day? Why do I? What? You sorry, guys. I'm learning.
Unclouded Day is what you call the Chicago gospel signature sound by VJ Records. Yes.
Okay, so Staple Singers are not from Muscle Show.
No, not originally.
Not originally.
They actually traveled down there to record. And by the way, the same studio that they recorded, moving forward a bit, the Rolling Stone did 2 classical tracks there, Wild Horse and Brown Sugar.
Okay, right, I'm going to quickly play this track and see what it sounds like. So it's got that bluesy feel kind of thing going on.
Yes, yes, it's blues. Because remember, Chicago was famous for the urban blues, you see.
And the thing is, all this is part of the migration from the south into the north, so what you found is that basically country people from the country, majority of black people in the United States lived in the countryside area from the basically from just the aftershock of slavery, and then to escape the madness that was going on in the South, which is basically lynching, murder that was going on, and segregation. They went to a tougher North, but not as tough as the South, and go into pockets.
But the interesting thing about the North, you see, is that when they went to places like Detroit, especially Chicago in particular, it was the industrial North.
Industrial, yeah.
Yeah, because they were building ships. And it was the key industrialized era, and of course, capitalism, they need labor. So you had this is what happened. You had steel workers, black steel workers, working during the day and playing their music during the night. So you develop the black clubs and all the different things.
Cool. That I mean, things like
that's where the Chess Brothers come in with chess records. You know, they had nightclubs and so forth.
Right.
So they developed the Muddy Waters of the world, and the VJ Records, which was started by a black couple. VJ Records, which the Beatles were signed to briefly. This is another story, but we'll come on to that later on.
Anyway. So no.
Publication. This
is powerful stuff, because the thing is, guys, you have to realize that all music is a communication of a journey, and you have to understand that a journey to appreciate that. Literally, the staple singer's dad was a sharecropper. Now, if you know what a sharecropper is basically the next best thing after being a slave. It's the same thing. It's a slavery, but just repackaged.
Yeah, but you're picking flowers and you're bending over the same way, brother, and you're working long hours.
Exactly for nothing.
In the hot dry hot sun.
He had to fight his way out of that. Into this, and when he got him to Chicago, and you have to realize that these great things, and something that we may touch base in the future about, is that there's a big massive creative thing that really boosted out in this period called the Harlem Renaissance. When it's just like, what's that about? It says, listen, there's some powerful creatives that are still affecting today's culture today, and I think that this move is really been it's amazing. Something that's really powerful from America, that a lot of, when we look at black music history from America context, America has shaped the 5% of slaves that were shipped to the Americas went to America. That 5% has shaped 90% of the creative musical sound in the world. Would you say that, bro? Is it that big, or would you say it's less?
Yes, I would say so, because let's go back again to the hit records that came out of Muscle Shoals, Motown, Chicago, and so forth. Remember, there was a pivotal moment in the 60s when the Statons and the Rita Franklins and so on started to take center stage. And the Diana Ross and the Supremes. And remember, up to that point, the record industry prior to 67 was still earning less than $1 billion. Very small. But when the Aretha Franklin and Arthur Conley and so forth, and the late Otis Redding and so forth, begin to take center stage, then the gross earning of the industry went over $1 billion, as I mentioned in our last broadcast. And as it integrated with the black sound, there was a point where the black sound was actually, let me show you how impacting Muscle Shoals was. It wasn't unusual for successive years to have 10 Muscle Shoals hit records in the top 20 of the Hot 100 charts. That's how serious.
So you got Muscle Shoals, bro, and I think I want to really catch this. And again, Muscle Shoals, and this is not about segregation of black music and white people, because the reality show is we know white people have been involved. When you look at the Philly Record Company, they're involved in the production. So we're not talking about segregation, black on air, but the reality show is you're gonna look at, and this is the beauty of black. What does black creativity look like? Not black people standing there by themselves doing everything themselves. They mix and intermingle with the best in the industry to produce a sound from their soul and from their heart. So let's get back. So the Muscle Shoals sound, would you say Muscle Shoals was more of a sound? So you had the Philly record sound. Did you think that, can you listen to a record and go, that's Muscle Shoals? You can see the Muscle Shoals too.
Yes.
And what was it exactly?
Based on the horn riff and connotations of the drums and so on, and the guitar riffs. When you listen to the collection of recordings that say Roger Hawkins played on, he developed a groove of drumming, a drum pattern with the collaboration of David Hood on bass, Jimmy on guitar, stroke engineer, right, and Barrick on keyboards. And so this was the core of the, what should I say, Barry Pickett and Jimmy Johnson, David Hood and Roger Hawkins, all white men, were the core of the Muscle Shoals rhythm section.
Wow.
And this is another interesting thing too. They had their own songwriters that was available, so any artist that came into town, they can write songs on the spot. These guys are brilliant. Yeah, so I was ready for them. That's what they did with Millie Jackson. If Millie Jackson didn't have enough tracks to do an entire album,
they'll come with their writers.
Yes, that's right. So they had their own publishing house. They had their own copyists. David Hood's first wife, used to do the copies. That means she used to write down the copyrights and all that. You know, it's quite an interesting village operation that became.
And you just raised something there. Village operations, and I think that is not until guys. I always will bring in the application when it comes to what we can go moving forward in UK gospel. We don't operate like a village. We say as a proverb, we say as an old African saying is that if it's not the child, it's not the parent only brings up the child, it's the village that raises the child. But when we operate in a music industry, when we operate as a UK gospel scene, we don't operate like a village. We operate like masonettes or put out around the field. Not even masonettes, probably just a terrace house here, there, everywhere, or whatever. Semi-detached houses all over the places. And to be honest, that is why we're so weak.
Well, actually, there was one thing that disturbed me the other day. I had somebody's album that was given to me, and I noticed on it there was no barcode or anything, which is highly disturbing. I won't call the name of the person in question. It was highly disturbing because I said, if somebody takes this record and it becomes a cultural movement in another part of the world, does the person in question get ching from it, or money, or royalties? I was appalled when I saw that, and I said, "What's this? What is this?"
How do you do that? It's a basic. You have to get a barcode.
You need to listen to the Clive Davis, and when you listen to Clive Davis and Recall, who is the father of Muscle Shoals Records, you can see how it's unbelievable how these men, through poverty and pain and sorrow, because when you think about it, Recall grew up like a black brother too, because his closest friends, just like the Chess brothers, his closest friends are black.
Yeah, get them one.
So the brother is quite comfortable. They have cookouts and so on. Yeah. He's quite comfortable. He doesn't have any struggle. He said the biggest problem is the whites around him that he had to protect the black artists from, the idiots. And he said he had to, but he said when it comes to his black brothers, that is his salvation. It's almost his mental state.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost his mental state, how he actually function. Well, both of us, what keeps me and you functioning is what we actually do.
Yeah.
If I wasn't doing this, you'd probably be here that I'm at the mental house.
Oh, bro, listen, man.
Very, very easy.
Yeah.
Because just
it's so much. It's so much to come out, man. And I think then like I said, it's so many creatives, and creatives have converted their passion, their skills, especially the guys in the Muscle Show now. You see, you've got effectively a white I say majority band, yeah, right, majority band based at the studios. They've got a little system, a little village working in, and you've got some of the top gospel artists coming in and working with the guys to produce amazing hits. The staple singers, come on, man, guys, yo, the staple singers are at one stage, you know what I mean, the staple diet for gospel artists out there.
They were a super crossover group. I mean, they were the message of the 70s at one point. They were the message people, you know, the black empowerment, or the create people, they create the music that helped people to get out, both black and whites, you know. Are you ready? Come go with me. I mean, it doesn't talk about one particular group of people. It's talking about the Latin people, you know, up in New York, you know, the
Latinos, yeah.
Getting up in the morning and you're hearing that group.
Yeah.
Hearing that groove.
Yeah.
And another thing too, what's interesting about Muscle Shoal, they had their own record label, and they had the Muscle Shoal on section on that label. And the Muscle Shoal on section comprises of 2 black guys and 2 white guys.
Come on now. We can work together, people. We can work together.
They played in a lot of hits. They were this is the thing that we need to understand, is that as far as recently as about 2013, 2012, such artists, surviving female artists as Betty Everett and Candice Sutton, revisit Muscle Shoal again before our dear friend Recalled passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, a matter of fact, the Muscle Shoal, they wanted to, there was a point where they were going to lose the building and so forth. I think, if I'm not mistaken, according to David Hood, Dr. Drake and all of them put money to save it. About $1 million, you know, because remember, it's a key, because with Dr. Drake and them, these are the music they listened to, because it was Mesh's music, empowerment. To me, Muscle Shoal to me is almost a miracle in itself. These brothers were just as accomplished as the Funk Brothers at Motown. They was just as accomplished as the guys them that was part of Chess Studio Band. They were just as accomplished as the guys who were part of Brunswick Studio Band, and so forth. And the other,
crazy.
And they were just as accomplished as the Booker T and the MGs.
Bro, I'm looking at their horn section. I'm looking at their horn section, bro, and I'm like, yo, these guys are absolutely.
You see what I mean? Yes.
The 20 best songs ever recorded by Muscle Shoals. Like, yo, you know what I mean? It's got, listen, I'm just looking at the horns, 76 in the 70s. So you got your horn sections, like you said, 2 white guys, 2 black guys, and they're releasing music themselves, probably supporting productions.
They were remarkably, and some of the different Fame Gang session musicians were mixed race as well.
Okay.
You know, the different. If you just check the Fame Gang, because there's so much musicians. The phase 1 and 2, and it's just incredible what actually come out. I'm Your Puppet by James. There's another classic by James and Bobby. Perfect.
So fame from the Fame. Would you say the Fame movie represented the Fame Gang? Is it connected to that?
Yes, yeah. They're part of because there's a documentary called Muscle Shoal, which talks about the story of these evolution of session musicians and so on.
Crazy.
Oh yeah. So it became a documentary, a major documentary.
Okay, I see here the Fame Gang, Muscle Shoals rhythm section, the second Fame Gang. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, these gentlemen are basically the backbone rather of the Muscle Shoal sound between both of the studios, you know, because the Muscle Shoal studio or rhythm section was a separate operation, but these guys came out of Fame because that's where they did their craft. And some of those men actually worked like Roger Hawkins. Roger Hawkins worked on When a Man Loves a Woman and Let Me Wrap You in Your Arms with Tender Love. These tracks, these are what you call Southern Soul classics.
I'm looking at here, guys, man, and there'll be, like I said, Aretha Franklin's up there, Percy Sledge.
Oh boy.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I heard he was quite good back in the day. Etta James.
Etta James with Tell Me Mama. She was from Chicago.
She's from Chicago. Okay.
She had a big. She was contracted to Chess Record, and Leonard Chess sent her down to
Muscle Show
to record.
No way. Is that how it was?
Her first majors was Tell Mama. And boy, that was smoking.
What about Wilson Pickett? Recognize that name?
Oh, you know, funky. Well, you know, Mustang Sally. Well, that is another kicking. You know, A Dude and so forth.
Yeah.
Monster tracks.
They got a guy called here. They got some more country western guys like Bob Seger. And, Paul
Bob Seger, boy, I tell you, Bob Seger's another one.
Paul Simon, you know what I mean?
Actually, when you talk about country, you had Southern Rock. They were responsible for Southern Rock, which is a totally different attitude. Very soulful in itself. Very.
And that's why they say that basically this is when I never forget talking to my friend, and he said that, listen, man, rock is heavily influenced by gospel and so on. If you look at the sound and where its birthplace is, it's entwined within black culture.
Yeah, I mean, all you need to do is strip it apart and take it down and dissect it, and you hear the drum beats, you hear the rhythm, the roaring horns. It's like listening to Toto, one of the top live bands, and the members who used to worked with Thriller and Off the Wall. Oh yeah, you hear the horn section, there's riff. You hear the riff. You know, these brother Quincy Jones used these guys.
so literally, as much as the bulk of their work was in the 60s and the 70s, what you're saying, the legacy and the outlay continues into the 80s and 90s and until this day. Even though the studio was a bit not run down, but it had to be taken care of the other day. But either way, the 60s, you cannot deny their input, which has affected not only the secular world, guys, it affected the gospel world massively. With 2-3 of our biggest artists in the 60s, which was staple singers and Aretha Franklin, who were
Candice, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were.
I remember with Candice did a lot of black gospel albums down in that region too, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, because you know, if Elvis Presley can do gospel album, trust me, these guys are coming out of church like yo, cool, let's do this, man. It's like normal to them. You know what I mean? That's one thing I must see. That's one thing that I must meet over in the UK that we don't do, is once you do secular, you don't do gospel at all. You know what I mean? But in America, they felt no way. They'll do gospel album. They do even a Christian album.
Aretha Franklin had a big gospel album during the 90s, crossover. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it was a monster. It was number one on the gospel charts for weeks. The album. Wow. I can't believe, but we can go in details.
Yeah, we can go doing that.
Monster hit.
No,
that was a monster hit. That was, I think, was number one for maybe 6-7 weeks.
Wow.
The album in question.
That's crazy. And I think this is the craziest. Is like, guys, you know, sometimes we don't realize, we look at the artist and we don't realize what is behind the engine room. And I think this part, what we're doing about Muscle Show, you know, Kevin touches base again. I'm gonna big up his book. His book goes into greater detail about the Muscle Show, the icons of Muscle Show. So all the Richard Hawkins and all this is going to be in greater detail in Kevin's book. 1000%. He's gonna be going into detail with them in there. But the reality show is, guys, this is just to give you a taste, and also to give us an insight in terms of the village turnkey mentality we need to start to have within our setups. And artists have to look at what gets you a hit record You just don't turn up and sing a song and go, Jesus, I love you. It doesn't happen like that. It's a way deeper than that, and it really flips the script to say to yourself, okay, what have I been doing wrong from now? I am actually need to just be around great people and learn from them and be guided by them, you know. And it's a very scary place to be, but the people that do that, they tend to make big hits, you know what I mean? And I appreciate the people around them, bro.
I mean, for instance, when you think about some of the songs that they wrote, You Better Move On by Alexandra, which that was the first hit that Rick Hall did with a black artist on his flagging up and coming label and production operation that sold 800,000 copies. Jeez. And help him to actually finance and develop a publishing house and etc. Better Move On was also a hit for the Rolling Stones.
Wow, crazy.
So this is the thing that with the Rolling Stones and them, they knew what was going on. And what has happened, what is so interesting, that a lot of the legendary white recording executives always listening here is to find out what was emerging. You know, when you think about that, before the Osmond had a major hit on the West Coast, they came to Muscle Shoals to do it with Rick Hall. Rick Hall was so good that he was the producer of the year according to Billboard. Is that good? Yeah, when you listen to One Bad Apple and everything, it's just smoking. One bad if you look at the list of gold records that Rick Hall did with the Osmond, it's absolutely amazing. It's just amazing. Amazing. It's absolutely amazing the amount of gold records that came out of Muscle Shoals.
Crazy. Never heard them before.
You had Joe Tex that did something in Muscle Shoals. Hold what you've got. I want to do everything for you. These are monster hits.
That's crazy.
And then Wilson Pickett did another one in Muscle Shoals before he left Atlantic called Don't Knock My Love Part 1, which was that was a million seller. Amazing. It's just amazing the amount of hits that came out of that city, that small, well, it's not a small little town. Johnny Taylor on Stax record, I Believe in You, You Believe in Me, which is a monster hit. Crazy. As well. It was a million seller. Boom. So Stax record benefited from Muscle Shoals with about probably 5 or 6 singles that were 500,000 copies and above. You know, there's this monster hits.
Wow, mad.
Then another one from Stax Records is Luther Ingram with If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right, which was a pop number 2, and it was a million seller as well.
That's not too bad. It's not too
well,
not bad legacy, man. Not bad legacy at all. But listen, guys, I'm going to direct you over to Kevin's book. Now, guys, I will tell you these are the instructions of the book. The links will be in the description. But as simple as this, if you're listening into this or you're watching this on YouTube and you're too lazy, just put in Kevin Tomlin. That's Kevin Tomlin into Amazon, and you'll find him. You know what I mean? And all you have to put down is icon afterwards, and you definitely find him. And he's got icons of Memphis. He's got icons of, correct me if I'm wrong, New Orleans.
Yeah, Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals, and he's got another one. You got 3.
That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah, today. Muscle Shoals is the one today, but you'll see the other 2 as well that he's got out there as well. And he's got God's Winning, God's Sparing Life. He's got more coming through, and we'll be continuing this conversation with different icons, different people, different things out there. So we're redoing this look at history of black music continually on this journey, because it's such a healthy subject. It's such a so deep that we can do this for another year and not be exhausted, guys. We just come up with random name Prince. We even touched James Brown. Come on, guys. How bro, like James, how
What? Where do you?
Yo, that's cool, man.
This is the question with James Brown.
Go on.
And Booty Collins, the bass tactician. Part of the James Brown sound, and George Clinton funky. I mean, all of these different operations
has influenced what we hear today, bro.
Exactly.
Bro. Hip hop is the most sampled artist in hip hop at stage was. I think it's a fight between Isley Brothers and James Brown.
Yes.
Isley Brothers, like, you know what I'm saying? Kevin are laughing, because it just thought about thinking, but true that, man. There's samples like, listen, I love Busta Rhymes, and I remember the track called Woo-Ha, boom, bink, boom, 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 boom. Now, I didn't realize until I watched the old James Brown performance on Top of the Pops, and I sort of, because I'm a bass player, I'll pick up these things, and the man was dropping bang, 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 and I was like, no, is that where Busta Teeth from? No, I was like, yo, there was nothing authentic and real hip hop. They just raw sampled out the whole 70s, 80s. You know what I mean? 960s funk, man.
Let's look at the sample of Juicy Fruit. 2 albums on Bad Boy production use a sample of it, and they were platinum sellers. Faith Evans and Biggs. 2 times, and it's slap it.
This is so for me, it's a legacy. This is when you get your loyalties correct to make a hit, because you can just sample them. Say to them, sample me, so I can make more money than I make from the original track. But listen, you got Isley Brothers. They've done really well, not only from their album sales, but from the sampling industry of that one number one. Everyone knows the do. There's a period everyone just ripped off that track. I can't remember the name of the track, but like everybody knows it, that sample. About 4 or 5 artists used that and got to hits. The Brat, Biggie, they all did their version of it. Yeah, you got Jay-Z who did a version of stuff that come out of Chicago. Yeah. Oh, and yeah.
Beyonce as well. They all actually, and let's not forget Mary J. Blige with her going into the groove as well. She go into stuff and
the queen of hip hop soul, man. She's the hip hop soul singer queen, man. She's the one that ride with the rappers, and she does her you know what I mean, she was big, you know what I mean, like All I Wanna Be Is Happy, and they go do 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 do. You see them bass lines, guys? They're not. They're just some original bass line. I'd love to get the samples.
They come from the tacticians as Louis Johnson's. Brothers Johnson.
Wow, there's so many things out there, guys. We'll get there. We'll get there slowly.
The thing about it. Okay, let's put it this way. If we take the journey through this, a year from now, we're just scratching the surface.
It's
serious, because the body of work of these different brothers and sisters from the different region, it's quite. Look, Muscle Show responsible for about 300 million copies worldwide.
Just give me 1 mil. Give me 1 mil. All I want is 1 mil money.
Just in that little enclave, right? Oh. Just one thing before we go. The rhythm section, when the artist couldn't afford to pay their session, the rhythm section would arrange with them to get points off the session. So that each time that I Take You There is played, Respect Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Are You Ready? Come Go With Me.
Yeah.
They get points of it, they get royalties. Ching ching, each one of and their estate and their surviving family gets royalties of that. because and that is not. They also got that from Bob Seger as well. Bob couldn't afford the studio sometimes, but he arranged with them to actually you get a slice of the cut for the record sale and go on radio. So,
and someone's getting paid right now.
And I said to myself, this was quite when I deal with late friend Linton Bettles. Told me about this point system and how this thing works.
Jeez.
I said, why on earth that our brothers and sisters not catching this? Because if they catch this,
we would have been making hits.
Roger, all you need is one serious hit, bro. One serious hit.
If the band's there, we'll get there. We'll get there, guys. We're not content as trade secrets. We're working on it, guys. We're telling you the secret. We got the knowledge. We got the knowledge, guys. Yeah. But listen, I'm gonna close off today's session, man. Kevin, nothing but love. Thanks for your time coming through, guys. Muscle Show. We're not gonna give out no more hints about Muscle Show. Icons of Muscle Show. Buy their book. Go out. It's going to come on Audible very soon as well. The books are coming through there. So great that Audible is the one for me anyway. Still, guys, and I'll just get my headphones and just walk along and I'll just get the information going into my ears and soak that in. As always, there's two ways to your soul and your heart and your mind and whatsoever. It's for your eyes and for your ears. Trust me, the ears is my preference. But listen, guys, this is Roger alongside the gospel music, the black music historian himself, Kevin Tomlin. Bro, nothing but thanks. Keep up the good work. And listen, guys, check out his books, man. Nothing but love, my bro.
Thank you so much. Peace and love, Roger.
Please.
Rich blessings.
Bless.
Hey, this is your bishop. This is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website and also check us out on Insta and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.